How did the war start, and what happened during the war?
So where were you during the war?
I was in Midwest. When the whole thing, after the coup, we in the army don't call it a coup because nobody had proven that there was a coup. No document, nothing. Nzogu carried out a mutiny. You see, you don't go out for a coup. You carry out a mutiny. If the mutiny succeeds and you form a government, then it's gone. But in this case, we didn't form a government. The government was not overthrown. Are you with me?
Yes.
Finally, Ironsi was invited as the head of the army to quell the mutiny. Having done that, he went to cabinet and said everything was fine. They were so nervous, they were so scared when Abubakar was killed and they didn't know where Kochibo was and their money. They said, okay, look, why don't you take over? It was the cabinet that gave Ironsi the head of government, not like many people who want to have it. But we want the details. I happen to have been one of the commanders on the ground in Lagos and got all the so-called coup plotters or mutineers. We got all of them. I brought them. So we're getting a correct version.
What now happened when the war started? Were you still on the Nigerian side?
Yes. The war was really not a planned war. The Northerners wanted to attack Biafra. They have driven Igbos and they wanted to follow. We said no. We have driven them, let them go home. Now everybody stayed their home. All of us in the Midwest came back to the Midwest. And if you want to fight East, the best route was the Midwest. And we refused to leave the route. In fact, they tried to bypass us, send some troops, we come stop them and send others through the creek, and they were beaten back. So Shua went straight through Soka and just one day fired, and that's it. And you know, you fire to a crowd, there's stampede, and before you know it, there's an uprising, and then it's war. Then the one said it was a police action. Okay, well, because they were wrong. Ojukwu was the legitimate Nigerian governor in Enugu. So he can't be fighting himself. There's so many issues to work out. So there was an insurrection. And then somebody said there was a police action against some movements in that area. But when it turned out that they were now looking for Ojukwu again, one of them, ceased to be, so now declared war. At that point, those part of those who were part of the material were in Biafra. The likes of Ifeanyi, Banjo, all those people who carried out the first coup and all. And when they started, Banjo now asked Ojukwu for authority to get people together and take him home to Yoruba land and take over Yoruba land. That was how the actions were grouped. Anyway, a new force started. This was a group. It had nothing to do with Biafran army, nothing to do with Biafran force. Banjo is a Yoruba man. Now he wanted to return to Yoruba land so that at least he had everybody there. And he had his own agenda, of course, which some of us do that. So he launched the invasion into Midwest and was almost succeeded because he got to Ore. And a sudden counter rumor got Ababasejo went and blocked Ore, so they couldn't go. Now, some of the Igbo boys didn't see what they were going to do in Yoruba land and broke down. The lot of Akara came out. So that invasion failed. And I think it caused some trouble that made Ojukwu to try Danjo and some other people unexecutable. So that ended that invasion. But Midwest had been conquered. And I was in the Midwest. We didn't know what was happening. They told us to come, and we went to Enugu. We joined them. So Biafra now annexed Midwest. It was no longer the militia. They were the militia. And it was the militia that was now the operational force that took Midwest. And then tried to go on. When they failed, they fell back on Midwest and consolidated. So at that time, those of us who were in Nigeria-Biafra, they came in and we thought we were friends and all that. Then it became clear that it was not my friend Ikuku or Magiobo and all that. So we all moved to Enugu and they integrated us. And that was how I rose to command.
Okay, they now integrated you into the Biafran army.
And that was where you had trained officers.
Was it true that Ifajuna betrayed the Igbos, and that was why they lost the war? That probably Biafra should have won the war if not for the plots?
Well, I do not know at what point or angle this is coming from. I know that my first encounter was with Ifajuna. When we say mutiny, the people who started the insurrection were all staff officers. Who was in Kaduna, Ifajuna was in Lagos. They were the world staff officers who were in the meeting. But they tried to use Abeokuta as their meeting point or training point. And these people were not, they didn't have forces with them, so this went wrong. And Ifajuna was the one taking Tafawa Balewa to Abeokuta. People would now say that they killed him. Nobody killed him. Nobody killed Tafawa Balewa. He was asthmatic and got choked with the ammonia. So they brought him out and put him by the roadside. This is an eyewitness I'm talking. Because when this happened, the first thing Hiroshi did was to try and collect all the dead ones and create a shrine, a special cemetery. And I will tell you here that I was one that took Okutibu's body back to his family in Sapele. So when you start, I can talk a lot now because I'm out of the secrets.
Why is it that Nzogu was the person that initiated the coup, but the power was handed over to Goyosi?
But I've not told you that. He was suffering from the very thing that Nzogu started to attack, corruption. As a staff officer, knowing the top officers, the Kotibo them and all, he wanted to arraign all of them and make them public exhibition of corrupt leaders. But like many things in between, some people started stepping back. He had to go to Katsina. I said, "Are you with me now or not?" Katsina was already backpedaling. He joined with the armored vehicle. And then when you have that kind of opportunity, Ojukwu was a senior officer to Nzogu. Ojukwu now tried to take command because Ojukwu had forces. He was commanding cavalry. And so problem came. The saving grace to Nzogu and a good advisor was Madebo, who was the corps commander of artillery there in Kaduna. I had moved out to Lagos at the time. So it's going to be very difficult to explain to civilians and get them out of impression they all have. Nobody has produced a manifesto for a coup. Nobody. Nzogu was like a brush thing. Now sent some staff officers. And this thing is what happened. We took advantage of the time when there was a Commonwealth conference. And I think Kenyatta was around.
Okay, that is Jomo Kenyatta.
That's right. He was holding in Lagos. And there was this one, the commander, also took leave of us at the cocktail party. So we now found that people were interested parties. Ojukwu linked up with Banjo. And so by the time power was handed over to Ironsi, there were people ready to swallow him. And again, I can say that I played a very prominent role in saving the situation. Why I said it was that everything was happening in Ikeja cantonment. I was at a Clifford Street. My duty was to arrest all those plotters, all of them. We brought them to that place. Finally, Banjo came. Banjo, Gowon, had been with Ironsi. Gowon was also a staff officer. And Banjo came and sat with us. Gowon went with Ironsi to form a headquarters at the Obalende police station. Then suddenly Gowon called. We had a very close tie. Gowon and I were classmates in Sanford. I said we should beware of Banjo, that he had weapon on him and he probably tried to suppress us and lead us into insurrection. I should find a way of briefing the officers that we are now collecting them. I called out people to Tunese's house and briefed them on what was happening. And then I came back and Banjo said I should come with him. I said, well, he said, so we should go and see Ironsi at headquarters in Obalende. I said, okay. Then on our way down, he said, well, the thing is that he and Ojukwu had done their plans. So they needed me to help him to now go and take over from Ironsi. He didn't know that Gowon had briefed me. So they were ready for us. When we got to Catabridge, he brought me out and said, well, this is where we're going out there. He called me out, told the driver to go where we're going to do so. I said, well, if you want to go and seize power, you don't have troops, or you don't know which of the troops on the ground are loyal to you. But at this, for the whole of mainland, I'm in command. So I'm the only one. So why don't you go back and make sure that we have control of the troops? And that was where the whole thing came. We now turned around and went to Ordnance Depot where Haruna was in charge. Haruna had held, that is the depot base. All unused or issued equipment that the army has belonged to that place. They have used it to fortify that place. As we came through, we were arrested. He took us to him. I said, yes, I said, we were coming. And this. So, we told him the story. And that was why we were there. After that, he still insisted on going. I told you, well, you can see that the man who has all the weapons that we need is not his support. And you can't fight him to get his support. So he left and went to Ironsi. Of course, by the time he got there, all the outer securities had known the problem. And that was entering the capture. You must have heard that he was now put in NNS Nigeria, the warship, and set a sail. That was how they put him out. Banjo went to overthrow Aguirre-Rossi. Aguirre-Rossi was well aware with Gowon and all those things. So when he arrived at the scene, he was arrested, finally put inside the warship, NNS Nigeria, and set a sail and took it out of water. So nobody can reach them, nobody can. That was where he stayed for some time, where things were now being it was very subsequently, years, months after that, the second eruption came when the northerners wanted to, they thought it was a southern attempt to kill them and all that, tribe.
What happened here in the Midwestern region, like in Asaba, that caused the killings of many people here?
That January coup, where Midwest said, no, we are not going to be part of an attack on the East. And so they withdrew all their supplies to us. So I now went outside the country and made arrangement to have our own weapons and our own supply line. Because the coup were good thing we're not attacking Ojukwu because they allowed us to use Calabar. And so we fortified ourselves. We're now a unit of our own, a country of our own, when the wars were going on, until we were now invaded by the militia and absorbed. We now became Biafran. But when they did that, they camped it out as the Republic of Benin. I don't know if you heard that before. Now, the reprisal was that they knew me. If you come to Ibuzo, you see my house where it was demolished. One day was there, Henry Boba. Henry Boba was one that arrested his Rajan and all that. He was not working with me when we arrested him. By the time things turned, the Boba was in the new prison when Banjo got there and shot him. And they killed him. So we had too many cases of reprisal, and they were going on. We were killing. But Midwest held this thing. Their government, Ejo was our governor. He was in authority, but had civil servants advising him. Refugees were now flooding through Midwest, trying to go home. And they asked me, I was in charge of operations to block the bridge.
The Niger Bridge.
The worst thing we can do is to build up a refugee center here. That will be disastrous. When I refused, they now call the controller of works, Engineer Paul, refugee, your place, late. And they went and we did one thing that we don't do militarily. We use very heavy iron to build the bridge cross. Refugees come and say, sorry, there are pontoons, there are canoes, those of you can swim, but go. Don't stop here. And that was the popularity of Cable Point. People went there. Then they ordered us to move our troops from the bridgehead right into town. Near Asaba area. I said, okay, so the whole place was the first place. And the easiest thing, if you know explosive likes resistance. So steel was the easiest thing to break. Explosive can't break this paper. That's why I find military vehicles very tarpaulin. We hit it, a bounce off. So Biafran militia had an easy access into Asaba, and the first road through the system. That was how they came. There was no point resisting because we didn't know what was happening. Particularly when you realize that a week earlier, Federal tried to attack us from our end, having been beaten back. We took their troops and put them in a camp at the Fosso, Borene camp. And then suddenly another one started coming. We didn't know what was happening. And we had all our people in Kukuruku. You can see from Kukuruku, you can see the road from Soka. Well, that way we were watching. So that was the confusion until, well, Midwest became part of what they say. And Midwest officers literally commanded the Biafran. Whether they were Guinea or everything, they all participated.
When the war ended, before the war ended in 1970, who was the person that really announced the end of the war? Because there have been a lot of controversy around that. That is the people that packaged the end of the war. They talk of reform. They thought that Obasanjo was also part of the...
No, well, the point is that Obasanjo took his troops and entered the and Effiong, who was the head of militia. That's right. And was active because Ojukwu said he was going to seek peace and travel. We went to see Obasanjo. It was like a surrender. At that time, unfortunately, I was still in my place. The French have joined the Biafran side, and armament was all over the place. And
the French army.
French government.
Okay, government.
Supplied armament to
the Biafran side.
And we are now stronger, particularly on the sector. And one who was commanding that said, when they now said that they are surrendered, they said nothing. They can't surrender here. But anyway, we were persuaded because the traditional rulers got hold of us when myself, Ebiko, Wage, were all from Midwest. Yeah. All the top commanders were from Midwest.
Even
Mora. They said, excuse me, you are the one prolonging this war. Our people have already lost the stamina for the war. You are the one, so why don't you just let it go? I agree, because at that time there was now no battlefront. The battle was all around. And you can't fight a war when you have your troops and everybody inside is a refugee. And the world drifting around, going for one place. They hear people, they come back to another, but they can't bust out. It's nice to have people like you come and search our mind, we make you relieve it. That was what a man was trying to come and relieve his blood on the Niger. Now, okay, I didn't answer the blood on the Niger. Well, this beat back in Norway, the father regrouped and came down this way. And of course, where were they going to? Ibuzo. They got to Ibuzo, the first bridge was broken. They went round, the next bridge broken. The only way now was to head to Asaba. And there, I don't know, the Asaba, you people are very, you're really very friendly visitors, more than we are. We look at you very well. So you welcome Murtala Mohammed's group and all that. And then call all your people to come out. You know why we don't eat rabbit in Ibuzo?
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Yeah.
Rabbit saved us. Well, here you brought out all the people for them to be slaughtered.
So, from what I heard, that even the Muritala Muhammad's group that came into Assam, that they had the list of names of people to be assassinated here.
Are you telling me? I said they first went to Ibuzon. That's where most of us were.
Okay, they started from Ibuzon.
But they couldn't enter.
Okay, then they turned to Assam.
It's when you come from Ogwash, you go to Ibuzon, no way. They tried to use the river and found the other bridge to be broken. They couldn't get out the other way. They now came back and continued from Ogwash to Asaba. But by the time they got to Asaba, they had a ready welcome. Whereas in Ibuzon, nobody was there to welcome them.
But why I'm very surprised about this is, how come they had a list of people to be assassinated, which means they knew the people they were looking for?
But all of them were part of Nigeria. All of you coming here, everybody around home, they knew them. And they had as our people working for Nigeria too, in the same truth. Nigeria, when the crisis comes, you now know the type of relationship you have.
So, which means they have that intention to come and kill the people right from the beginning.
No, wait a minute. Kill the people who will not be. They came to search out some people. When they finished with Asaba, and the few people went, they got there, found my father in my house, took him out, put him in the house, and blew up the place. They went to Connect one day, there was nobody. They didn't know, so they just shot one side of the house and went away. Iboma had not built any house. And these were the prominent names, if you look in the city. One war, it was the war that brought him home. One war is a northerner. He was born in Kaduna and speaks more of Kaduna anything. But he's a fearless soldier. He's still alive. He's the oldest man we have now. But you see, in the whole case, they did not go to look for names in. They would have been looking for people like Benoche, Oche. These are proper army-trained officers.
Is it the Colonel Oche from Assam?
Yes. But they will be looking for him. Mora, they would have gone down. They have the list. You see, so this was after the crossing of the Niger, when Murtala Muhammad failed and all this. So now they wanted the reprisal. What I was saying was that this was an organized parade by Asaba people to receive them. This knowing what was coming, that it was massacre.
So, but then, I'm very surprised that being that those people are civilians. They should have known that during the war, it's not the civilians that the civilians are harmless, They should have been like military to military, soldiers to soldiers, and not innocent
That is what
civilians.
they say, but no, in any war situation, they tell you that the soldier only knows how to shoot the gun. The brain is the civilian.
And it was really a disaster they carried here in Assam.
No, but the point is, the people thought that by welcoming them and bringing everybody out, they would have come there. Then they would not have gone around hunting. But there was one boy, not an who was one eye shot. It was the one that challenged them. So we have to understand that our people have good intention. That, okay, these are people who have no problem with you, we are not fighting you, welcome to our land. And address them. Virtually surrender to them. So they were surprised at what they got as a result.
But what can you say about General Yakubu Gowon's apology to Asaba people that they should forgive? What does that really mean?
No, as a general, haven't now heard what happened, which is on military. Because normally a general will ask you to kill people. You do have, people are being tried. If that situation was taken up, whoever did it, if it was an officer, nobody has a name, will be tried at the Hague for war crimes. To me, when I picked it up was when a man wrote the blood of Elijah. Of course, when a man, being a civilian, was speaking from what people said, and most of it you get all twisted stories about who came and who was there and which will be. And some people would like to commit some those who were not even involved. Some people will think that it was going to be a book of praise. And I'm surprised that at the end it was a book of indictment. So beyond what you give to people who are not really trained military officers. And I can talk here, I've been to Beatty Hall and Sandals, commanded a corps. I was in Germany, the British Army of the Rhine. So when people are talking, you notice, they see me, I take a different view. I just go back and say, well, they don't know. So, military people are the least violent people. If you know your power, you are stupid to use it to let somebody else. So sometimes, now everybody is a warrior.
Because of the war between Biafra and Nigeria was as a pogrom, which was after the two consecutive coups in Nigeria. One was on the 15th January 1966, which claimed the lives of the top officials of the government of Nigeria, like Ahmadu Bello, like Okotiebo, like some other people who are at the helm of affairs in the Nigerian government. After which, a lot of things were said, and in fact, the people of northern origin, they took it that the coup was organized by people of eastern and the southern origin, and therefore they were not happy with it. So that on the 29th of May 1966, there was another coup which claimed the life of Agu Ironsi, who took over the government of Nigeria, who was the next in command in the army section, because the coup was organized by the army. The man at the helm of affairs in the army took over the command of all the army in Nigeria and wanted to know why the coup was made. Anyway, he was killed in the second coup, and so many other things followed. He was killed, and the person where he ran to fight, he was killed also in his house. So after this, there were a very big program. People were returning from the north, a good number of people were killed. A very pathetic one was the scene of a woman, pregnant woman, who was dissected, the child in the womb, and killed and thrown into the train that was coming into Eastern region there. Now, like I said, I am a civil servant retired. At this time, I was in the civil service. I was the third secretary to Nigerian Civil Service Union, Eastern Region. And my boss then, the chairman, was alive. I am not going to put off defense for any person, but I am trying to say exactly what I know, what I saw perhaps, and most of the things that were written in the papers, we took them as being correct news. Alale was my boss, and at a time when all these things were happening, people were urged to come and join the civil defense. Incidentally, Alale joined the civil defense early and was one of the top notchers of the civil defense in eastern region in Enugu. Enugu was looked at as the headquarters of eastern region and every other thing. So that at this time, Alale and Ifajuna and Banjo and perhaps some other people were labeled saboteurs, and he was killed. I was there. I was there because of Alale, who is my boss. I think we were about just 3 of us there. Before, after the killing, after the execution of the army, we came back. I realized that immediately after that killing, the following morning, the British ambassador to Eastern region went back to London. Now, the government of Biafra, as it was known, was in the hands of the Oluomachukwu and the members of the leaders of thought and the consultative assembly members. No, I think that time the consultative assembly members are also the members of leaders of thought. The government was in their hands. And most of the things I am going to say now is mostly what I know perfectly well. Because I won't know everything that happened in Biafra. After this, many people were urging Ojukwu to declare Biafra. Now, Biafra was got, the name of Biafra was got from the name given to Bight of Biafra. That's the rivers. Then rivers was part of it, and some outside the country was part of it. Bight of Biafra. And from that they derived the name of the country, Biafra. I know fully well, because I entered the army later, I know fully well that the army man has never taken any instruction or directive from any other fellow than the army. It is secluded with them. That is why a lot of things they said that time, I believe it was not true.
Why did Ojukwu declare the Republic of Biafra?
It was a lot of people, including the members of the leaders of thought, wanted Ojukwu to declare Biafra. And he did. But the people who knew about the war that we were going to face refused. They told him, don't. You will first of all whip the sentiments of the people who own this war, the people who have the powers like America, like London, like China, like Germany, and so on and so forth. But later he declared the Biafra on the 30th May. 30th May, 1966, yes. Declared after the second coup, 29th May, then the following month he declared Biafra. I may be wrong somewhere along it, but it's just what happened. But what I'm saying is that that Biafra, if I am even to say, would have come in. The idea of the people who hold that the Biafra should remain until we whip the sentiments of the people who are the main source of the argument and problem are the people from rivers, from where this oil comes about.
Can you speak a little about Nzobo? What happened to Nzobo at
Well,
that time?
yes. When they came back, they were all assembled and given jobs, because immediately after the declaration of Biafra, the Nigerian government said they are going to police the whole of the Eastern region. They are still holding that it is Eastern region and not Biafra. So Nzobo was asked to man Nsukka area, and at times he was removed to go and man a station, Gakem. Gakem. They have four main areas where they fight. Gakem, Ogoja, Nsuka, and Abonima. This Abonima, I happen to know that I was there because the senior brother, the immediate senior brother of the same mother, was with me when he came back from the battle. So a lot of things that happened with Ibewuike, I know, but Ibewuike can never tell you anything that the old sin can never.
But according to the Igbos, they said it was Ibewuike that betrayed the Igbos, that if not, maybe they should have captured Lagos.
We know that you cannot capture Lagos or capture anywhere without weapons. Biafrans have no single weapon. I learned at that time that Nigeria had not even weapons. They had armored cars, they had everything, but none of them was in eastern region. So whatever they are talking about capturing Lagos, capturing anywhere, was just a mere elusive idea. Yes. People who don't know what capturing a place is, something was actually wrong. I'm not putting up for any person. I won't go brief for any of them because I am not with them. But all I know is that it is wrong to say you are a saboteur. You do this if you are not exactly in the place where things are being done. Like I said, Ibewuike has his own way. Alale, my boss, said something to us only that the essence of this coup has been defeated. The essence of the coup has been defeated, and we try to know why he said so. He didn't say anything again.
Where was Nnamdi Azikiwe at that period?
At the period, Nnamdi Azikiwe was in Nigeria. He was in Nigeria, and he was not happy with the declaration of Biafra. He was not happy also with the declaration of Ahịara. Ahịara was its own special declaration. Nnamdi Azikiwe was not happy with that. I think he may be holding the same idea with some other people that we shall wait with the sentiments of the powers of the world before we declare Biafra, so that we know that as soon as we get into Biafra, we fight the war and with some people helping us. 2 weeks after this Bonima dropped, that's the people who are prospecting oil at Bonima. After some time in Biafra, I had to join the army. I had to join the army because things were getting tougher and tougher, for especially we civil servants. I joined the army at Olu, and we were trained haphazardly and sent into the bush to go and fight. I started my own fight with the troops, the 56th Battalion. So we trekked from Umuoba to a point where we joined and saw the Nigerian troops, and we fought them before Uba Junction. At that place, there were some other Biafran battalions who were fighting from different ends. So we pushed these people up to Uba Junction. After some days, we started another push to Umuobasi, Amavo. After about a month or 2 or 3, just about 2 months, we pushed them into Ngwa County Council, they call Osisioma. And we continued doing this. At this Osisioma, it was such a funny thing to see how these troops of Nigerian soldiers were desperate. They were desperate. At the point when I went for my recce, I did not see anybody, but all of a sudden I heard Biafra, what's I to go? I went to the ground, rolled myself one other side, and at that place, a little while, I heard cleared the whole bushes and the one hefty tree. It was 106mm gun that was shot at me, a single fellow. You can see how desperate these people are. So we started fighting until we put them into Ngwa High School. From Ngwa High School to inside Aba. So with all this pushing, there was a lot of things that happened. At a point, these people caged us. They caged us so that we could not even see water, no food, no nothing at all. You see? So that every morning you get up with my dirty hands filled with the blood of my co-fighters. You go to the leaves of the tree or the grasses to press your hand and get some little water. That little water in your hand is the water that enters into you and the food that is in you for the whole of that day. People suffered. In fact, when we came out there, I was caught by 11D. We went down to this thing. And at a point, I saw that I had no strength again in me because so many things were happening which it may not augur well for me to say here now. But let us just have it that it is war and anything happens during the war. What actually happens is that these Nigerian soldiers at a point were fed up with the whole idea. When we came down to this in Aba side again, Obo Hill, the Nigerian troops saw that, in fact, they were tired. One Yoruba boy was crying that his brother who joined them yesterday was shot and killed. So they came down and said, Biafra, do not shoot. We are coming down. We would like to have a discussion with you people. That Ojiku and Gowon are in their homes, drinking tea and every other thing. But we are here now, killing ourselves for what we don't know anything about. We were surprised. Anyway, there were 3 of them that came down, met us there. My people were not happy for them to see them. They were not happy. I wasn't happy myself. But since it was something that will bring us together, I had to come out. They said we should not fight again. That was around December 1920, 1968. So these people said that we are going to enjoy Christmas. For the meantime, they are bringing us some food. Honestly, I was baffled. After that discussion, the next morning they came down with 6 pounds of cooked rice and beans, different types of cartons of beer, Carlsberg, different types of beers, and cigarettes. So when they brought that thing down, our people refused to come out. There was one Amaka who was in my own battalion said, we should go. Let us at least have it in us that we shall live for about a week or 2 before getting dead with a gunshot. So we went down there, we met them. After some time, they brought those things. When they refused to eat, they said that it was poison. But I looked at myself. If I eat this poisoned food, I will die off and stop harassing myself. Let me eat it and die. So I started eating that rice. I ate it to a field to the extent that I couldn't carry myself. I drank beer, I smoked cigarettes. I thought people would come and join me. They didn't. After some time, when they saw that I did not die, they rushed on that thing and we ate it. And in fact, gave us a little hope that we shall live for some time. After the Christmas, they were bringing us some food from time to time. After the Christmas, There was something, I don't know what actually happened. They started shooting. Nigerian soldiers started shooting. At a point, I talked to them. I said, why are you shooting now? You want to kill us and you say we should keep quiet. He said, when the officer comes, they will start shooting. After the officer is done, they will stop shooting. I say, okay, that is all right. I welcome that. Unfortunately, one of the mortars sent into our own camp killed my immediate fighter there, Amaka. Amaka died when he was on sentry. So, when Amaka died, I wasn't happy with myself. In fact, it didn't take time. We were removed from that place to another position where we stayed, Ekote Beniside. In fact, from there, these people chased us into a place we did not know, to the extent that it took us almost 5 days to get ourselves outside from there, and started asking. And whoever you asked in Calabar side, where the way for you to move out of the Nigerian shots, they will look at you as somebody who is not their own. In fact, some of us were killed. My brother, that was how the whole thing went. All my listening. One morning, we were removed to Uhuba side. We do not stay up to 2 days there. From Irete to Ofolora to Umuokane to Opeti, then Opeti to Ebweda. All these are our way. We go in and out every time. So what I'm saying, at a point, just one morning, I woke up to see my daughter, whether it was factual or not. I said, my daughter has died. The only child that remains with me, because my son had died of diarrhea. My second son died also for a disease I don't know, because I wasn't there again. Then when I took off to go down to Nnewi, I came down to Nnewi and saw that my daughter has died. So I lost my 3 children. I came back again. In fact, a lot of things happened, but it's not for me to recount everything that happened bit by bit. When the war ended, we trooped from Ebweda to Obete. From Obete, before this war ended, Nigerian soldiers were sending something, the bomb they call napalm bomb, that gets everything around it aflame. We were running. So we ran from Ebweda to Obete to Umuokane to Amafo Irete, and from there we started coming back. When we came down to Onitsha, we heard that Asika was appointed administrator East Central State, East Central State. Well, after some time, they asked us to come to Enugu and collect our salary advance. We went to Enugu, collected our salary advance. And 1 week, or less than 1 week, they sent for us again to come and start work. We went down to Enugu and started work. That was how the whole thing went. See, that was how I saw the war ended.
So the crisis started, and I had a slogan. I was in my Tamasule's place, wearing the first fridge and the first fan he bought, the first Nigerian finance minister. I was a young boy full of life. What the man did was to hide me under his bed. And I was hearing outside, Araba, Bamaso, Araba, Bamaso. Hey. So the man came saying, hide here. So I was sitting there until 5:30. Now he called me out. And I entered into his Peugeot. And he took me between Sabongari Market and Sabongari Town. And I came out. He said, well, Godwin, I thank Allah they no kill you in Birini. If you survive, come and see me. I stepped 5 steps I had inside the market. Akashi. It was deep to me. Where are they going to? Yeah, that is catch and mob coming to kill me. What I heard was a thunder from heaven. Brrr. Now, snow, ice block fell from heaven and poured dust and was beating the mobs, and they ran away. So the dust made me like a pig. While I was going, they killed the Southerners. I was jumping over dead bodies until I got to number 12 Sanusi Street. Okay, that was when Nzogo killed Sardauna. Now the Igbo people now prepared, like the Angel Gabriel, they had a sword piercing Sardauna on the ground. That was what caused the war. The Igbo man slogan, just listen to me. So many people don't know. So the Igbo say, they also say, so Nzogo small picking our picking, kill Nzogo na poster. And they had one record, so they interpreted it that the Hausa people are ghosts, that they are crying. And that was how the war started. Now, as we were packing our things back home, they would bring out the man, bring out the wife, bring out the daughter, bring out the wife, and slaughter them. And the Hausa driver would enter a vehicle and return the load back to the north. I experienced it until we got to Jeba Bridge. That was how we escaped. Lokoja there.
What section of the army were you?
Now, so when I came back, we went to work in Glass and Roses. So I joined the army. Okay? We were recruited by Mwawo in Benin. All right?
And what section of the army is it called?
Well, that is 18 Battalion. Until we now cross, during the crisis, I will now cross. I joined 29 Battalion by Burumi, St. Charles, Artis in Onitsha here. All right?
So please, can you tell us little about what happened during the war?
What really happened was that the Nigerian soldiers tried to pass on their march coming down from Ore. While we were moved, because our enemies, they were shooting from behind. So when we all now shifted back, we were asking for where to regroup. They were shooting. And the slogan was to slaughter, to kill. That was how they killed. We were already there. They killed young men and carried the young ladies and their wives and their children and mother to my town in Selazaba.
Will you say that what happened was a genocide?
It was a genocide, of course. The order was to clean all the IBOs and IGBOs.
What does that mean?
Igbos from the Delta speaking Igbos, and the IGBO, the Igbos from Onitsha to the other one.
Can you say a little about what happened in Asaba and other areas like Isela Asaba, Ogwashuku, Ibuzo, and many?
In fact, the plan was to kill everybody. So they killed so many. They killed so many in Ogwashuku. They killed so many in Esiago. People deserted. It was a total war from Abo. They don't want to say any human. They were Kombi. While we were there, the Nigerian soldiers planned Operation Totality. That was where our daddy, then Colonel, we call him Air Raid. He declared Operation Open Corridor.
You mean Colonel Acho?
Yes, he declared Operation Open Corridor from Otuocha. So Nigerian soldiers were coming. We now shifted and allowed them to come in. Are you hearing? So we allowed them to come in about 4 miles into the heart of Anambra. And we now blocked them. Now you will guess what happened. With all their food and all the food and everything. They paid no one single saved. We dealt with them squarely.
So what happened in some places, like last time you people measured what happened in some areas in Anambra?
After Anambra, where Uli is the airport, the airport, the fighting area of Biafra, that's where plane take off to go and bomb and do that. All right. Now, when you know where there are wars, we move. Because we from Delta here, we have no place to run to.
So, but there was an attack, a very serious one in a particular.
There are, in Owerri, in fact, Nigerian soldiers came in. That is what they call AOU, Owerri, Umuahia, and Aba.
But there was one that was here in Anambra State.
Yes,
a very serious one.
Yes, there was. They call it
many armored cars.
Red Devil. That is the Red Devil.
So where is that?
In fact, they moved from Onitsha to go and capture Nnewi, which was an impossible task. They perished between.
But there was a place that the Biafran soldiers attacked most of the Nigerian soldiers.
That's what I'm saying now.
9th Mile.
9th Mile. 9th Mile. All right. That was where when they were coming from our Abagana. Another area is Abagana. Abagana is where they loaded 12 luxurious buses. Adekunle was in charge of there. Dead Marine. Now, all the buses.
Can you tell us what happened in Abagana?
What happened in Abagana? In fact, they thought they would come from that, but we stopped them. All the whole Nigerian soldiers perished there. When you hear Isama, General Isama saying that Nigerian soldiers lost more soldiers because of lack of tactics, that's what I'm telling you.
In what way does it happen?
Because you cannot come into somebody's house. You don't know the man's house more than him. We know where they are coming in. So when they were coming, we ambushed. We waited for them. And they came to a killing range. And so that's how the war paced. No single one lost. All the attacks, we stopped them. All the attacks in all sectors of the war. In fact, it came to a level of the setting they were using against us, we are recovering all of them. As the day was going by in the war, our side, we were winning. We were chasing them all over the sector of the war. Heaven knows, any old Nigerian soldier will tell you that this is true. It was only sabotage. The Igbo man was trying to sabotage here and there.
Conrad Nwawo retreats south to Nnewi. The other, under Colonel Achuzie, marches to the Enugu-Onitsha road, where they lay ambush. Due to the speed with which Colonel Muritara had raced into Onitsha, he was obliged to leave his stores and other supplies behind. Now a 102 lorry convoy from Enugu was on its way to Onitsha to deliver those supplies. At Abagana, 6 miles from Onitsha, the convoy falls into Achuzie's ambush. A Biafran locally made rocket is fired at a tanker at the front of the convoy, igniting an explosion which engulfs 100 lorries behind it, devastating the entire convoy. Abagana, Abagana, Abagana. The Abagana ambush will be the greatest ambush of the Civil War.
Can you tell us little about what happened in Asaba again?
What really happened in Asaba?
Because many people were killed in Asaba.
Yes, the people they killed in Asaba is the civilians. No single soldier was killed in Asaba.